.357 Magnum ammunition test. And today what I have is a 180 grain semi-jacketed hollow point. I've been wanting to test a 180 grain through the snub nose barrel for some time now because I think it would make a really good load. I'm not necessarily sure of how good it would be as far as low recoil and stuff like that, because it is kind of a heavy bullet, and with heavy bullets you sometimes get a lot of muzzle rise. However, the 180 grain 357 Magnum is kind of known as being a little bit low end of a round. So in that instance, it should kind of reduce the felt recoil because there's a little bit less gunpowder. Because anytime you take a heavier bullet, it's longer, push it deeper in the case, you reduce that case capacity. But why I think that might make a great snub nose load is because you're reducing the amount of gunpowder, but you're still using, you know, pretty high pressure. So you have a good recipe for burning up that powder really quickly. So typically when we look at 125 grains, stuff like that, we're losing as much as 250 feet per second between a 4-inch and a 2-inch barrel. We go to a 158 grain, we're losing maybe 150 feet per second or 200 feet per second. So I think we might lose a little bit less velocity with a 180 grain and still be a pretty efficient round. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. And then as always, we're going to go through the juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna. That kind of simulates like a pectoral muscle, covered by 4 layers of denim, followed by 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard. That kind of gives the same resistance to a bullet as ribs or sternum, and then 2 water jugs to catch these bullets. And typically how this compares to most ballistic gel testing is out the back of jug 2, we're about 12 inches, making a dent out the back of jug 3 about 15 inches, jug 4 18 inches, and so forth. So let's get started with the test between a 4-inch and a 2-inch barrel with the 180 grain semi-jacketed hollow point by Federal. And by the way, this is rated at 1,080 feet per second. All right, I did a little bit of a rudimentary test with this ammunition 2 years ago. I tested it through the 4-inch barrel, but not through the juggernaut box, not through a bologna pack and all of that. So I'm not going to run it through the chronograph, but we averaged 1,099 feet per second. That's right on par with what we normally see with Federal ammunition. It's usually at or above rate of velocity through a 4-inch barrel. So 1,099, let's just say 1,100. Let's see how close we can get to 1,100 with the snub nose barrel. I've not fired through this gun before, so I have no idea what to expect for felt recoil. .1049. 1023. 990. 1043. 1036. So about what I had expected. Not incredible velocity. Accuracy is a little bit on me. I haven't fired a gun in 3 weeks. First shots in 3 weeks. So let's go through the ballistic box, compare the 4-inch barrel to the 2-inch barrel. It looks like we didn't really lose that much velocity in comparison to about the 1,100 to the 4-inch barrel. So let's see what we get in the juggernaut box. All right, first up we have the 4-inch barrel with that 180 grain Federal 357 mag. Let's see what we get here. All right, the fiberboard is in the first jug. The first jug has a massive amount of damage. Decent damage through the bologna pack. Very good here. But with heavy rounds, we typically seem to see the damage get pushed a little bit deeper in versus right away. So let's see what we got in water jugs. First jug, it completely destroyed this jug, blew the whole thing apart. So we're definitely dumping that energy a little bit deeper. And through the fiberboard here, we're definitely seeing a little bit of expansion. This is where it entered. Expansion in the bologna pack from that lead tip before it hit the fiberboard. And huge damage in the first jug. Jug 2, still really good damage. Jug 3, you have an impact in 4 for sure. So we went right through 3. Impact in 4. There's an impact in 5. Might be leaking just a little bit, so that's going to indicate about 18 inches comparison to ballistics shell. Pretty good mark out the back of 4. And what I see is very similar to what I saw in plain water jugs. About the same amount of expansion, just not as uniform. So it looks like it may have tumbled a little bit because it would have deformed one side more than the other. Not too bad overall. Now let's see how that 2-inch barrel compares. All right, 2-inch barrel. We'll see if it's comparable to the 4-inch barrel. See what we get. All right, definitely more felt recoil for sure. Baloney pack has a good amount of damage. So what I'm seeing through the baloney pack is the same damage as the 4-inch barrel. Through the fiberboard, looks like the entrance hole may be a little bit smaller, not by much. So this one expanded just a little bit less in the baloney pack itself. Now let's see what we got in water jugs. All right, first jug has similar damage, except it blew out the back instead of the front. Interesting. Jug 2 split the whole top. That's interesting. Our impacts are drifting slightly upward. Right through 3. Impact in 4. There's a hole in 5. Looks like the bullet's in 5. Bullets in 5. No dent out the back, so we're gonna kind of call it here 19 to 20 inches penetration comparison to gel. The interesting thing here is looks almost like there's more expansion, and it's definitely more uniform. Pretty good. So what we can definitely tell from this test is kind of what I was thinking. Not a huge difference between a 2-inch barrel and a 4-inch barrel as far as terminal ballistics. We're losing less than 100 feet per second. We're getting similar performance on the target. Just overall pretty similar, and the felt recoil in the snub nose revolver was not significant. It was a little bit less than your full house 357 158 grains, and probably just a little bit less than your full house 125 grains as well, but pretty similar. It's getting close to that same felt recoil. So overall I can say it's not a bad choice. I can't say the muzzle rise was necessarily more than anything else, but what you're getting with this round is a little bit less quick power and a little bit more deep penetration. So I would say this would probably be a little bit better for like a really big animal defense, even though it has a little bit less energy than the faster rounds, because it's gonna penetrate deeper into fleshy material. So that's what you get today with the 180 grain semi-jacketed soft point 357 Magnum 2-inch versus 4-inch barrel. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.